Welcome to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast, your guide in the race to financial freedom through real estate investing and sound financial practices. This podcast is for anyone interested in learning more about real estate investing, personal finances, and a new take on traditional retirement. Now, here are your hosts, Larry Fierro and Mike Moe.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast, your Monday morning motivation edition. The last one of the year, man. The last Monday morning edition of 2020, Mr. Fierro. What do we got to say about that?
Honestly, dude, I never thought 2020 would end. You know what I mean? It's been a long year for a lot of people, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting 2020 in the books and seeing what 2021 has to offer. How about yourself?
Dude, same, man. It was a good year. It was a challenging year, definitely a unique year. Obviously, with everything that happened in 2020, nobody would have, expected it to turn out the way it did when it started. But it was a good year. It's one for the books, and we'll, like you said, we'll move on to 2021 and take some momentum into 2020. Both you and I got some good deals in the pipeline. Got one closing here in 2 days, so pumped about that. But yeah, dude, looking forward to 2021.
Yeah, you got one closing in a couple of days. We just got one under contract. This is the time of year when everybody's having fun with the holidays and they're taking their feet off the gas, is when you really got to push your pedal to the metal and turn up your deal finder a notch. Yeah,
exactly, man. Yeah, and once we get past these closings and the first couple of weeks of ownership are always a little bit chaotic, but I'm excited to do some case studies for the people in these two deals that we got closing here. So it's going to be good.
Very excited. Very excited. So we just had Mr. Scott Smith on there, man. He brought some serious knowledge that really enthralled the people last week.
Yeah, for sure, man. I don't know if I offended him a little bit because I told him, what did I say? I said something along the lines of, you got a really boring subject, but you talked about it really well, where it was really entertaining.
I think you called this subject not sexy.
I did. And it's not, it's asset protection, but the dude talks, it was really entertaining for me. And I'm hoping for the listeners, and I took a lot out of it. And maybe we'll be giving Mr. Scott Smith a call for some business dealings of my own. But yeah, it was a great episode. And our call to action from our last episode, man, was going to Scott's website. He's got a free quiz on there, which he can give you some quick, actionable advice based on taking this quiz. So it's royallegalsolutions.com. If you scroll down just a little bit, you can take the what type of investor are you quiz, which will give you a little bit of a start on kind of how to set up your asset protection. And if you go into this website, this is a really slick website, dude. There's a ton of information on here, tons of videos, blog articles, bunch of stuff on here about asset protection. So super cool.
Asset protection is probably one of the most important things you can do to prepare for being, a successful multifamily investor at the beginning of your career. Yeah. Because if you get everything correct and you protect yourself, make yourself virtually invisible, is what he was talking about, to a lawsuit, then the rest of it is not cake, or anything like that, but the rest of it is going to fall into place a little easier.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna put your head on that pillow at night and sleep a little bit better, knowing you got a good asset protection strategy and knowing that everything that you're working your tail off for isn't going to go up in smoke to one lawsuit. And I've heard him say multiple times that it's not if you'll get sued, it's when you'll get sued. If you're in this business long enough, like hopefully a lot of people want to be, it's going to happen, right? You just got to be prepared for it.
That's it. So speaking about asset protection, this is kind of a good segue into our Monday morning motivation for this week. Looking towards the future, Mike.
Yeah, man. And it's no coincidence that it's the last Monday of 2020, right?
That's it. One of the things you really want to do is you want to learn your lessons from the past. You want to use that knowledge, and you want to look towards the future and try and plan as best you can for your financial freedom. And that's what we're talking about every day at the Real Estate Marathon, because real estate is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So It's going to take you a little while. So you got to keep looking towards the future, and that's what you and I have done. We did our vivid vision of, 3 to 5 year for the podcast. And, it's like our playbook, and that's what we're doing. We're going step by step by step to make ourselves successful and achieve that financial freedom number.
Yeah, dude, we've talked about it so much on the show that you can't get to where you're going if you don't know where you're going, right? You don't have to know every step along the way, but you do have to know kind of that end goal, the end state that you want to get to, the end, whether it be financial freedom or a certain amount of money coming in. You got to have that vision of where you want to go. And then to your point earlier, once you know where the end state is or where the end vision is, then the rest kind of falls in place. You're like, all right, if I get that like crystal clear on where I want to be in 3 years, you can kind of reverse engineer that on what you need to do. So the how is a little bit easier if you know kind of the where and the where you're going and the why. So, and you dropped that book, it's that Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold, and it's definitely one of the most influential books that I've ever read, because it to your point, it gave you a process to get super crystal clear on where you want to be in 3 years in all aspects of your life. So, and it gives you a really easy way to kind of get that written down, get that on paper, and then reverse engineer what you need to do backwards from that. If this is where you want to be in 3 years, what do you need to do this year? If this is what you need to do this year, what do you need to do this quarter? If this is what you need to do this quarter, what do you need to do this month, this week, this day? So it really allows you to get down to the nitty gritty of what you need to do to get to that 3-year goal. So fantastic book. But yeah, vision is super key.
It is, and it's important for any kind of trip or traveling that you're doing. Like, I want to come out there eventually someday and hang out with my bro and Mike out in Minnesota. Right. Now, I know Minnesota is the final destination. I don't know what towns I'm going through, but I know I'm just going to keep driving west. Just keep going west, and you're eventually going to get to the point where I'm getting closer to Minnesota. And then next thing you know, you and I are having pancakes at the IHOP.
There we go, man. I'm not an IHOP fan unless it's like 2:30 in the morning after bar close. Then IHOP's fantastic. But no, yeah, man, absolutely. You gotta start with that end in mind.
That's it. So, and this coming Thursday, man, I'm really excited. We're gonna do another Back to Basics this Thursday.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're gonna talk about networking, man, and how key it is in real estate and really all of business. But get back to the basics and talk about some networking strategies, how important it is, and how to get started when you're maybe new in real estate and you start rubbing shoulders with some good folks.
That's it. And networking is key. That's how you and I met. That's how you and I started the podcast. And a lot of our successes that we both experienced in life has been because we're both outgoing people. We're both wanting to talk to people. We both want to get out there and meet the people. And like they say, your network is your net worth. And just got to get out there and meet the people that are doing what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, both of these deals that we're closing right now are very much attributed to networking, right? Like we the people that I met that I'm closing this deal with, we met through our group, through a mastermind, I think, and then through, an acquaintance. So like it's all, a product of good networking. Same thing with you, right? With the people that you met in your group. So
yeah, and one of the things that we're hoping to do after we do our Back to the Basics, I'd like to bring some people that we know that are masters at networking, and just have them come in and talk about their life story, tell how networking helped them and their path to success. So, and that's for a future date. But, this week it's going to be you and I riffing on networking and getting back to basics.
Heck yeah, man. All right.
So cool. That's everything I've got. You guys keep chugging along, keep looking to the future, and keep that eye on the ball.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Real Estate Marathon Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Have a great night.
Thanks for listening to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast. If you found value in any of the content from this show, consider supporting us in the following ways. Subscribe to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast. Leave a rating and review. Continue the conversation with like-minded individuals on social media by heading over to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast Facebook group or follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Real Estate Marathon Podcast.